Welcome back to my channel, where I make videos as a hobby. I am glad you are joining me on my journey as a content creator to spread awareness about true crime stories and how to be careful in who we associate with. Today, I will be telling a story about another serial killer who once lived among us. His name was Ted Bundy. Theodore Robert Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. Raised under a shroud of deception, Bundy was led to believe that his grandparents were his parents, and his mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was his sister. This familial confusion, experts suggest, may have planted the seeds for the fractured identity that would define his later years. As a child in Tacoma, Washington, Bundy appeared relatively normal, intelligent, clean-cut, and well-mannered. Yet those close to him later recalled disturbing behaviors, a fascination with knives, voyeurism, and an unsettling detachment from emotional relationships. Bundy attended the University of Washington, where he studied psychology and was considered charismatic and intelligent. He also volunteered for the Seattle Crisis Center hotline, ironically working alongside future crime author Ann Rule, who would later write the bestseller The Stranger Beside Me. Even she had no idea that the polite young man she worked with was secretly spiraling into darkness. By the mid-1970s, women were vanishing across the Pacific Northwest. Young, attractive brunettes with long hair parted in the middle, a physical type Bundy seemed to target, began to disappear without a trace. The pattern was chilling. Bundy often approached victims in public places like college campuses, pretending to be injured or needing help, wearing a fake arm cast or hobbling on crutches. Once he lured them close, he would bludgeon them with a crowbar or wrench and force them into his Volkswagen Beetle. Victims included Linda Ann Healy, Donna Manson, and Brenda Ball, among others. As bodies began turning up in remote wooded areas, panic spread throughout Washington and Oregon. Still, Bundy managed to evade law enforcement. In 1974, Bundy moved to Utah to attend law school. The disappearances followed. Women like Melissa Smith and Laura Aim were abducted and murdered. His methods grew increasingly bold and brutal. He was first arrested in August 1975, when a routine traffic stop led police to search his car, finding handcuffs, rope, an ice pick, and other suspicious items, though not enough to charge him. It raised red flags. Eventually, he was linked to the attempted kidnapping of Carol Ranch, who had escaped after a harrowing encounter. Her testimony helped convict him in 1976. But Bundy's story didn't end with prison. Bundy escaped custody twice. In 1977, he jumped out of a courthouse window in Colorado during a pretrial hearing. After 6 days on the run, he was caught. Months later, he escaped again, this time through a hole in the ceiling of his jail cell. This second escape would prove deadly. Now in Florida, Bundy was a wanted man, but he wasn't finished. In the early hours of January 15, 1978, he entered the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. Within 15 minutes, he attacked 4 women, killing 2, Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman, and severely injuring the others. He fled the scene but struck again weeks later, abducting and murdering 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. Bundy was arrested again on February 15, 1978 in Pensacola. This time, the evidence was damning. Bite marks on Lisa Levy's body matched his teeth, and he was connected to Kimberly Leach's abduction. His trial in Miami was the first to be televised nationally, and Bundy, ever the narcissist, chose to represent himself. He saw the courtroom as a stage, manipulating the media and playing to the cameras. He cross-examined witnesses, flirted with reporters, and even proposed to Carol Ann Boone, a former co-worker in court. She later gave birth to a child, rumored to be his, while he was on death row. Bundy was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to death in 1979. For nearly a decade, Bundy sat on Florida's death row. He offered little to investigators, only vague admissions of guilt, always in the third person. But as his execution date neared in 1989, he began confessing to more crimes. By the end, he had admitted to over 30 murders, though the true number is likely higher. Many believe Bundy never revealed all his victims, choosing to maintain control even in death. His victims ranged in age from 12 to early 30s. They were often college students, abducted from public places. Bundy kept trophies from his victims and revisited their bodies long after death, a behavior known as necrophilia. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair at Florida State Prison. Outside, crowds celebrated, some even selling T-shirts that read "Burn, Bundy, burn." His death brought some closure to the families of victims, but his legacy endures in darker ways. Ted Bundy is often cited in discussions about psychopathy and the deceptive nature of killers. He didn't look like a monster, he looked like your neighbor, your coworker, your classmate. That's what made him so terrifying. His story has inspired countless books, documentaries, and dramatizations, including Netflix's Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, and the film Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile starring Zac Efron. Bundy's case changed how law enforcement approached serial killers. It prompted the rise of criminal profiling at the FBI and greater public awareness about predatory behavior. Ted Bundy remains a chilling example of evil hiding behind charm and intellect. His crimes devastated dozens of families and left scars on the national psyche. Yet his legacy has also served as a cautionary tale, reminding us that evil can be disarmingly ordinary. We remember the victims not just as footnotes in a monster's story, but as individuals with lives full of promise, stolen by someone who wore the perfect mask. If you found this story chilling, hit the like and subscribe button for you to be notified when my next video airs. Please comment down below what true crime case we should cover next.